I'd like to ask the president of the class of 2012, Eric Ginter, to join me in welcoming the ceremony.
Good morning, everyone. Wait. Is it on? Okay, yep. Good morning, everyone. I am pleased to welcome faculty, school board members, family, friends, and community members to Leland Gray's 177th Commencement Day. I would also like to introduce these people sitting behind me here. I will go from right to left. Here we have Miss Gerald Julian Cisse, our senior class advisor. Dr. Dorian Dorfman, the Leland Gray principal. Melanie Zielinski, the director of student services. Linda Rude, our English teacher. A great English teacher, I might add. Emily Long, Leland Gray School Board Chair. Dr. Stephen John, the Superintendent of Schools. And last but not least, Dr. Frank Rucker, Chief Financial Officer. And thank you all for coming.
To introduce the ceremony, I would like to call up Caleb Bristol.
There are some who simply follow and do what is asked of them, and there are others who seize the day. Eric Ginter and Brandon Riley are examples of those who seize the day, and that's why they are chosen as our class speakers for the class of 2012.
When we entered 7th grade at Leland Gray, we began the transformation from the childish confinements of elementary school to the mature world of middle school. 2 long years of gossip, awkward flirtations, and dodging Miss Carasona's irate temper were enough for me. Experiences such as our class trip to New York City, the diversity fair, and most memorably, Miss Hines' sex education class were meant to expand our worlds and fertilize our seeds of change. Miss Hines succeeded. Having gotten all of that knowledge securely under our belts, so to speak, we are ready to move into the big world of high school.
Seemingly redundant, we were the youngest kids again. This time, we were really getting down to some substantial educating. Our classwork became something more than effortless, dating became more than talking on MySpace, and our section of the bleachers for Monday assembly changed. But seriously, Mr. Whitman taught us about hemp's many diverse uses, Ms. Chapman embodied the English experience, and Ms. Olmsted taught by example using her classroom as a model for democracy, social reform, and free speech. In 10th grade, our eccentric science teacher, Mr. Paytas, taught us more dance than biology. Ms. Landenberger discreetly conducted her talent search while feigning to be an English teacher. And Mr. Russell taught us how to be men. Even if we weren't, we were after we had him.
Junior year took us to a new level of education. For the first time, most of us were faced with some difficulty in school. Unfortunately, I don't think any of us will forget the painful process of writing a term paper. Thanks, Ms. Rude. While Mr. Barton coached us through a Vermont State Soccer Championship, he also taught us math. I am not sure if he ever realized what a distraction his boyish good looks were. I'll admit, even I was in trouble concentrating. This was also the year that our new principal, Dr. Dorfman, came to our school.
By the time we reached senior year, we weren't sure we could handle any more excitement, but we were wrong. We could. Our leader, Dr. Dorfman, and our esteemed guidance counselor, Ms. Walensky, reverted back to their own high school days by sporting cheerleading skirts in order to stimulate school spirit. It's an image we will not soon forget. And unfortunately, our friends at the Career Center missed it. Also, senior privileges were earned only after an intense interrogation followed by a background check.
If there's one thing that we can conclude about Leland Gray, it is that it is a very unique school. I believe I speak for all of us when I say that we have had a much different high school experience than most students. Aside from learning from the faculty, the students here are a tight community unlike most high schools with segregated interest groups. Our experience here at Leland Gray has been a memorable one and has prepared us well for the next phase of our lives.
We would like to say thank you to the community, the faculty, our family, friends, and all of our classmates. It's been a good 6 years. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric and Brandon. To introduce our first faculty speaker is Julia Miramontes.
This next speaker has had an impact on many of our lives, coaching some of us in softball and teaching most of us all science. It is my pleasure to introduce the class of 2012 faculty speaker, Bruce Whitman.
All right, got my speech. No, really, I got my speech. Actually, I didn't want to wear glasses up here, so I had to use like a little bit bigger font than the last time I did it. So it's looking something like that now. And I do have my glasses. What a day, huh? Beautiful. Couldn't script it a better day. And what a class. Can't thank you enough for letting me be part of this special day with you, but I gotta ask you one question. Are you guys out of your minds? Me and Tom Russell as the class speakers? These guys behind me have no idea what we're gonna say. Or do. Don't worry. But guys, I'm glad you're living up to your rebel roots. Today is the first day of the rest of your lives. One door opens, another closes. And as you are about to go forth into the world under the shadow of Pekin, who wrote this crap? Hey, Russ, it's your speech. I got it for you. So let's get to know the class of 2012. This is a participation number. And I'm going to ask you to stand up after I ask a question, and then I'll ask you to sit down and ask another question. It's pretty simple. Okay, class 2012, stand up if you've ever been in a drama presentation. Woo! Stand up if you ever played a sport. Wow. Stand up if you ever played an instrument. Woo. or all league, all district, or all state in music or sports? One of my favorites, stand up if you were a state champion. Stand up if you attended the Career Center. Participated in the co-op. Been a volunteer. Traveled internationally. And the last one, ever gotten on a plane? I really find that quite curious, because I've traveled around the world and I've never gotten on a plane. I've gotten in a bunch of them, because it's a little windy on the wing, you know? Okay? Think about that. Hunter, you're sitting down, right? You've heard that a few times. I could go on and on, we could go on and on doing this, but I think you get the gist of just how special this class is. For me, it's been a much too quick but fun 6 years working with you in science, coaching a lot of you on soccer and softball fields, playing a prom together, laughing and watching you grow up. To be sure, you have made an impression on me and provided me with lasting memories. Like Eric Ginter and Bobby Culver. Eric came to me in like April of his 9th grade year and asked if he could secretly pull a safety shower in my room on Bobby after they finished their final exam in June. I mean, this kid was doing some serious planning. I had him jump through a bunch of hoops, get permission from his parents, get permission from Bobby's parents. Eric did. He even brought a change of clothes for Bobby. To see Bobby's face when that shower let go was a ride. I think Eric spent more time hatching this plan than actually studying for his final. Nah, he was a good student. Oh, and Ginter, one more thing. Never, ever shave your eyebrows again. Don't do that. Chris Barrows. Chris officially took 2 of my classes here, but spent so much other time in my room during his 4 years that I think he should have earned another science credit. Chris, those moments were special to me. I look forward to them and I'll miss them again. Even if I did have to pick up all of my paper clips again. Dan Bueller afforded me the opportunity to fulfill every teacher's dream. To stand in front of the class and go, Bueller, Bueller, Bueller. I bet that's the first time Dan's heard that one. Allie Jones's laugh. It comes straight from the heart. Nah, it comes right from her toes, actually. I don't know if you remember this, Allie, but the time we got to laughing as a Chinese delegation was about to visit the classroom, I made some crack about where they were from, and then Callie Ginter asking if this delegation was actually from Wardsboro. And that was really funny. Really embarrassing, too, but it was really funny. The Eminence had this thing for remote control sound boxes. Kevin hiding, and I know this is one of George Carlin's 7 dirty words that you can't say on television, but I think you can handle it. A fart box under J.O.'s, that's Jess Young, chair, and trigger in middle class. Good one, Kevin. And Drew, hiding an animal call box in the cabinet behind my computer. His ESI class was working on a watershed project using laptops. This application had an annoying, and I mean really annoying, sound of water flowing. I had the kids turn off the sound because it drives me nuts. So Drew would trigger this call box every couple of minutes, and it sounded just like the water flowing. You can see I was getting worked up, so he did it more often. Finally, I got up and said, whoever has the sound turned on, and at that point, the whole class started laughing. And there's Drew, big grin on his face. Drew, you know I'll get even with you, okay? So now I'm sure at this point, Dr. Dorfman and Dr. John are thinking right now, did we really renew his contract? My first block environmental talks class this past semester, Hunter and Sam, more on them in a bit. Jess Davis, thanks for keeping the class sane. Cody Thompson, who was on video falling completely into Mill Brook while stalking salmon. Can't be posted on YouTube though, because it would consist of one continuous beep. And Darius, Sorry, Mr. Whitman, I'm late again, but it's not my fault with Doce. And finally, Justin Machuro. Machuro, you can make me laugh. You walking into a mailbox on Route 35 was hysterical. We didn't say anything to you because we thought you'd turn. Winter activities, Brattleboro Bowl. The kids are bowling, music's playing, Hendrix, Purple Haze. Excuse me while I kiss the sky. Justin looks at me. I wonder why he says that. I said, says what? Excuse me while I kiss this guy. Sky, Justin. S-K-Y. True story. Phoebe, scoring one of the prettiest middle school soccer goals I've ever seen up in Charlestown. One timer, top of the 18, on a bouncing ball, laser into the far corner. Fishing stories with Emmett. Joey moved up here from my hometown in 10th grade. Great kid, but Joey, you do need to work on the mullet a little bit. Hinsdale is still the land of the mullets, I think. And to the folks who took my meteorology course, unequal heating of the Earth is the answer to all questions. And thanks, Sarah, for all the cloud pictures. The Costa Rica crew of 2011, swimming at La Fortuna Waterfall, the hot springs, the Sandbox School, the hike into Punamona. Hunter learning what happens if you stand up too quickly in a rainforest. Huge, I mean a huge thorn in his head. Olivia Caponcelli. Oh, Olivia, don't forget to blow out the match, okay? That has nothing to do with Costa Rica, but I just want to bring that up. Sarah, Kayla, who was sitting behind me in the boat when I got jettisoned in the Purcure River while whitewater rafting, and Sam, who got to share the experience with both her dad and her uncle. And finally, the 8th grade softball team. Hands down, one of the best teams I ever coached. Rachel and Allie, Olivia Shabbat, Krista, Nicole, Jules, JB, J.O., and Cal Pow. Callie, I don't think I've called you that since the end of that season. There's so many memories, but not enough time to touch on them all. One thing left to say, it's a great day for a ball game, ladies, let's go. Sorry to the folks I couldn't mention, no hurt feelings, I hope. Don't feel left out, time is short, and that's all. So, I guess this is where I'm supposed to impart some words of wisdom or something. So here goes. My hopes are high for all of you. I hope you chase passion, whatever that might be. An education, a career, a hobby, storm chasing, like my passion, or another person. You know what I mean. Something that makes you feel alive. And then when you capture it, cherish it. Hold it tight and keep it close to you at all times. It will make you feel like you found the secret of the universe. Pull it out when times aren't going well. Respect your dreams, your own hopes for your future. Remember, when you throw away your dreams, your dream is going to walk out on you. Okay? Participation is required. Life is not a spectator sport. Nearly 50 years ago, Dylan wrote that the times they are changing. That song is even more relevant today. The changes you might be facing in your lifetime could be staggering. You have the responsibility to be part of the decision-making process. If you give up that right, you lose the right to complain. Yikes. Nearly 50 years for a Dylan tune. Wow, I better stop on the way home and get a cemetery plot. Persistence. I don't completely buy the line that things don't kill you, make you stronger, but I do believe the dents we receive along the way do help shape our character. It's not going to be easy. I urge you to be resilient, push through the hardships, and don't give up. Because once you quit, that first time, it gets easier and easier and easier. Lots of P words. Patience, however, is not one of them. Good things come to those who wait might be true for hunting or ice fishing, but I'm not so sure for your future. If an opportunity arises, go for it. This goes back to the participation thing. Make things happen for you and don't wait for things to happen to you. As for advice, don't sweat the petty stuff. And come to think of it, don't pet the sweaty stuff either. Sounds like good advice. Don't become complacent. Really the only difference between a rut and a grave are its dimensions. I know this will sound calculating and a bit out of character for me, but consider all possible outcomes before making a major decision. I could go into an explanation of wave functions and Schrodinger's equation to explain why you should do this, but I'll spare you a lecture on quantum mechanics. Really listen and be considerate to other people's points of view. You've probably heard this before. Pessimists see the glass as half empty. Optimists see it as half full. Personally, I see the glass being twice as big as it needs to be. There could be another point of view that you hadn't considered. Enjoy every sandwich. Warren Zevon gave this great piece of advice in his last interview before dying of lung cancer. Treasure each day, each happening, as we all have expiration dates. And finally, be happy and try to make others laugh. Remember, everyone smiles in the same language. And finally, for this quirky class of 2012, maintain your individuality. It's somewhat ironic for me to say this to you, with all you sitting over there dressed in identical caps and gowns, but individuality does matter. It really does. There's a word that's creeping more and more often into education speak that I absolutely detest. Let me just say the language of the profession of education is weird. Lots of acronyms, NCLB, GLEs, ESTs, IEPs. It's sort of like having a conversation with Miss Chapman. You know what she said to me the other day? And I know I'm going off on a tangent again, but it's not like I haven't done it really before, right? Okay? She said to me that she had to have a tap and a Sparky come to her house. And then I think I did one of those head tilt things dogs do when they're confused. She explained to me that a tap is a plumber and a Sparky is an electrician. I thought I spoke English, but it's not. The word I'm talking about is data. You are not data. You are young adults. You should not be collected, analyzed, scrutinized, quantified, objectified, twisted, dissected, or trended. If you give into this notion that you are data, you have become faceless. You become the victim of someone else's design. Personally, I like people who buck the system. That's a surprise, right? I'm going to warn you that somewhere along the way, someone in your life is going to tell you there is no I in team. What I want you to tell them is this, maybe not, but there's an I in independence, individuality, integrity, and identity. Identity is not defined by the clothes that you wear. It is defined by the person that you are. Never, ever lose that. So that's it. I have no idea what your future holds. Heck, I don't even know what I'm going to be doing at 2 o'clock. I'm hoping that I'll be at Gabe Rose's house enjoying all that great food he's been telling me about for 4 years. So, to quote the famous Dr. Emmett Brown, does anybody know who I'm talking about? Come on, the doc from Back to the Future. Your future hasn't been written yet. No one's has. Your future is whatever you make it, so make it a good one. Please don't live down to expectations. Go out there and do something remarkable. Thanks, class of 2012. I really appreciate it.
I would now like to call up the student who is introducing our next speaker, Caitlin Purcell.
This next speaker has never failed to make me laugh or, tell a good story. So we thought he'd be a pretty good pick for, keynote speaker. He's looking snazzy. He's got a heck of a show planned. Here he is, Thomas Russell.
Willie, are you out there?
I got your back, Tom. Come on, I got your back. Got it covered.
Hey, have you run a surveillance?
Everything's looking good. He's here, we got him.
I know he's here. I've seen the parents, and you can't mistake the brothers, so we'll get him, okay? There's a lot of money hanging on this, so we could retire soon. Or maybe we'll have to.
Roger that.
Talk to you later. Dr. John, Dr. Dorfman, Melanie Zwolensky, thanks for the ride. Emily Long, Frank Rucker, members of the school board, teachers, staff, parents, grandparents, siblings, relatives, friends, and especially the best and only class at Leland and Gray 2012. I am truly honored to be a keynote speaker today. Why me? I'm not quite sure. I've taught physical education and coached just about every sport at every level for 35 years. But I still wonder if I'm the one that should be up here giving words of advice about your future endeavors. That's a real good question, especially when you've got many, many people out here in this crowd that could probably come up here and do a much better job than I. But since I got the ride in on the Harley, I rented the tux, I'm on stage, I'm going to give it my best shot. Right now, that's good. Right now, it's happened before. Right now, you're probably wondering why I'm dressed in this incognito attire. I'll get to that in a bit. I do want this speech to be truthful and straightforward. And that's why I want to let you know it's scientifically proven. You listening, Captain Sally? This is great. Are you listening, Captain Sally? Sunblock works on preventing skin cancer, so use it more than I do. But whatever else in this speech, you can believe it or not. The only thing I don't want to have happen here today is that you leave here saying that you would have rather watch paint dry than listen to Russell. For the graduating class, I'd like to have you look like you're paying attention. And if you're wearing sunglasses, don't slump over and go to sleep, Russ. And if you can take a little bit of this speech and remember it for more than a week, I might feel a little bit of success. And that's what this speech is going to be about: individual success, wealth, and respect. As for my attire, okay, thank you very much. Good. As for my attire, about a month ago, my partner, I should say my partner, and I staked out a house on Adams Hill Road in South Newfane. We weren't staking the house out, we were staking the grounds out. We wanted to help Susan Gunther Moore clean up her yard and go into the spring feeling a little more comfortable. My partner goes to the front door and lets her show dog out the front door, a standard poodle. I looked at him and I said, "What are you doing?" And he said, "She said she'd stay right by us." One look at him, one look at me. She went out the driveway, took a right, and she was southbound on Adams Hill Road, lost. 6 hours later, we found her, and we felt a little bit of success. A week later, my partner comes up missing. They can't find him in the school. I find him in 2 hours. I'm very successful. I'm feeling like a private eye. A week later, Chris Barton, a teacher, loses some very huge, expensive speakers to his computer. How lucky. 4 hours later, 4 hours later, after asking and putting up a reward, my partner and I, Willie, we found the speakers. And Willie didn't want his money. Well, Barton, I want mine. So there it is, right there. Success. But right now, my success is that a Chinese diplomat just recently called me and asked if I could get a hold of one in particular student here. Journey East went over to China and Inner Mongolia, and they put on a fantastic show. And the diplomat wanted one of the players or one of the actors that really is always in a different dress style, hierarchical pants, you never, he's slick. He's slick. And my partner and I, we've been offered 6 figures and we are looking for him. He goes by the name of Gint.
You know I still love you, baby. 사랑해.
He's out there. I think he's the one on the right.
I know what you're thinking, baby. Why aren't you listening? How can I just love someone else and forget you completely when I know you still love me? Telling me you're not good enough. My love for you is just a tongue. You know it's not right.
Maybe the one on the left.
How can this be when we were meant to be? I want nobody but you.
I think you might be right. The one with the long legs, we're on him.
I don't want it other. I want nobody but you. I want nobody but you. How can I be with another? I don't want any other. I want nobody. Why can't we just be like this? 'Cause it's you that I need and nothing else until the end. Who else can ever make me feel the way I
All
feel
right, girl.
with you? No one
Okay.
else do. Telling me you're not good enough. My love with you is just a tongue. You know me enough.
Woo. Okay, nice job. I think I'm on to someone right here. It might. It's the one with the long legs. We'll be on him when he gets his diploma. We're going to get our money. I think his father would be happy to ship him out.
We'll be on about car, used car salesman.
Okay. That's success. Always looking to improve yourself no matter what your age is. Dr. John behind me did not get his doctorate right out of college. Went into teaching, principal, vice principal, worked at it, and worked his way up. All of you in the graduating class are already successful in this stage of your life. And you're sending such a great message to the younger boys and girls out there today, showing them how important education and graduation is for the first big step into adulthood. Let's not forget your parents who were very successful in raising you and proud of where you are today. That brings me to success. I looked up success. The internet is great these days. They gave me 8 steps, 4 steps, 7 steps, and 5 steps. Being the great reader that I am, I went with 5 steps. 1, make the decision to stop being average. Keep on moving. Don't accept where you're at. Keep on climbing the ladder till you're completely satisfied. And remember, Pong, what Will Rogers said. If you think you're on the right track, don't stay there too long. You could get run over. Make your own decisions and work as hard as you can, and don't let somebody else influence you in what you think you want to do. You're out to please. Great. You're out to please. You're out to please. Hey, I never thought of that, Chris. Hello? Nice call, Chris. Hello? No. Hello. Okay. Back to the other one. Hello? I'll be talking into that one next. You're out to please yourself and nobody else. There are some great people out there with tons of experience and information that you can listen to, but bottom line is, you're the one that has to be happy and content in what you're doing. I graduated from college with a BA in business and political science. I know it's hard to believe. I got into a business management program. I went over to Keene. I made out all those forms to tell you what you should do. I walked in the first day. It was a beautiful day like this. They're mowing the grass. I get a 4x4 cubicle, a phone, and a bunch of numbers to call to reinsure. And Jerry leans over the top, big jolly guy, glasses, very, very nice, and said, "Hey, welcome aboard." Well, come Thursday, I know I'm quitting. I hate it. I hate the job. There's got to be something else in my life that I want to do better than this. So I get in there Friday morning, and knowing that Friday afternoon, I'm going to go into the boss and say I quit. And at about 11 o'clock, Jerry sticks his head over the top and goes, "Hey, Tom, how you doing?" I said, "Not good." He goes, "How would you like to come out with myself and my friends and have a glass of wine after work?" I went, I'm not a wine drinker. I said, "In fact, you just made my mind up, Jerry. I thank you very much." And I went in and quit the job. I went back to college, became a physical education teacher, and never, ever looked back. Believe me, I smile in the morning when I get up to go to school because I enjoy it. That's what you want in life. Number 2, realize your dreams. If you have a dream of what you'd like to do, go for it, whether it's far away or close to home. Take that chance, but give it 100%. And if you come to a fork in the road, do what the great Yogi Berra from the New York Yankees said. They asked Yogi, "Hey, Yo, you come to a fork in the road, what do you do?" He goes, "I take one." You can always turn back. If you fail, get back on your feet and work even harder to reach your dream. 3, set your goals for yourself. Visualize your goals for the future and go for it. Go out there and work like hell, break some of the rules, and never be afraid to fail. And if you do, make it right and keep on striving to be the best. 4, find ways to stay motivated. Keep busy, keep involved with your community, and realize just what you're working for. And 5, enjoy the process. Have fun, laugh a lot, it's good for the soul. Enjoy the ride, and remember, we don't beat the reaper by living long. We beat meet the reaper by living well and living fully. This brings me to a little story about a simple life, well lived. A businessman was at a pier in a small coastal Mexican village when a small boat with just one fisherman pulled up to the dock. Inside the small boat were several large yellowfin tuna. The businessman complimented the Mexican on the quality of the fish and asked how long it took him to catch them. The Mexican replied, "Only a little while." The businessman then asked why he didn't stay out longer and catch more fish. The Mexican said he had enough to support his family's immediate needs. The businessman asked, "What do you do with the rest of your time?" He goes, the Mexican said, "I sleep late, I fish a little, I play with my children, I take a siesta with my wife Maria, I stroll into the village each evening where I sip wine and play guitar with my amigos. I have a full and busy life, senor." The businessman scoffed and said, "I'm a Harvard MBA, and I could help you. You should spend more time fishing and with the proceeds buy a bigger boat. With the proceeds from the bigger boat, you could buy several boats. Eventually, you could own your own fleet. Instead of selling your catch to the middleman, you could sell directly to the processor and eventually own your own cannery. You would control the product and processing and distribution. You would need to leave this little coastal village and move to Mexico City and then along to LA and eventually New York City, where you would run your own expanding enterprise." The Mexican fisherman then asked, "But senor, how long will this take?" To which the businessman replied, "Don't worry, it only takes a little while, 15 to 20 years. "But then what, senor?" The businessman laughed and said, That's the best part. When the time was right, you would announce an IPO and sell your company stock to the public and become very rich. You would make millions and millions. Senor, what then? The businessman said, "Then you would retire, move to a small coastal village where you would sleep late, fish a little, play with your kids, take a siesta with your wife, and stroll into the village in the evenings where you could sip wine and play guitar with your amigos." The fisherman, still smiling, looked up and said, "Isn't that what I'm doing now, senor?" Rudyard Kipling's response to a simple life was this: "Someday you will meet a man who cares for none of these things, and then you will know how poor you are. So you can be successful without the overconcern for money, power, and popularity." Popularity. It took 8 Special Olympic runners to show the world about success and respect and caring. 8 of the best 100-yard dash. I'm going to throw this thing across the field. 800-yard dash. Why does this happen to me? Yeah, okay, I won't. I'll talk quiet. Am I too loud? Okay. Okay. 8 Special Olympic runners vying for the 100-yard dash gold medal get put into a great stadium. They are high-fiving each other. They are smiling. They are waving to the crowd. They're enjoying the moment. They're having their picture taken. And then the starter says, "Get in the box. On your mark. Now set. Go." Bang. They're off. They're running as hard as they can because they want the gold medal. And then all of a sudden, one little girl fell down, skinning her knees, skinning her hands, and started to cry. And one by one, each of those runners ran back picked her up, rubbed her knees off, rubbed her hands off, wiped the tears from her eyes, all held hands and crossed the finish line at the same time. That's caring, that's respect, and that is being successful. There is monetary wealth. I don't have a BMW and a Lexus in the garage. Nobody's left me a ton of money. I didn't make a ton of money, but if somebody does have money out there and they don't have anybody to leave it to, I will give you my name and address. But I'm wealthy because I've got family. I used to follow my daughter in college. I would leave here and drive 3 hours up to catch the last inning of a softball game and catch the second 7 innings and drive all the way back. Somebody once said, "You do all that 6 hours?" I said, after I give her a little bit of money for her and her friends to go out and give her a hug, I smile all the way home. That's success. I loved it. My other daughter, I chased all over the Northeast until she started ski racing out of the country. And I used to dig in to watch her do a downhill. I'd spend 4 or 5 hours in the freezing cold to watch her for about 15 seconds and loved every bit of it. I followed my son through 3 different sports at each level, from elementary to high school, and missed 2 games. One I was coaching one, and the other I was having hip surgery. And I got out of Boston and got up here on this bank, and it took the pain away. If you have family and you have love, you're wealthy. You can have all the money in the world, but not spend it with your family because you're trying to make it. But graduates, if you can put those together, you're going to be very, very successful. And remember, everybody, that everybody measures success in different ways, but each graduating student will be the only one who will decide what success in their life means to them. So treasure every moment that you have, and treasure it because you shared it with someone special. Special enough to spend your time with, and remember, time waits for no one. I'm going to leave you all with one last quote from my all-time favorite doctor. Sorry, gang. Dr. Seuss. Don't cry because it's over. Smile because it happened. For the Leland and Gray graduating class of 2012, we, the superintendent's office, the administration, school board, teachers, staff, and me, wish you the most in happiness and love. And with these 2 things, success will surely follow. Bless each and every one of you. I hope you're out there, Willie. Ladies and gentlemen, I present you the Leland and Gray graduating class of 2012.
Oh, thank you.
I think both of our speakers left us with much to think about in these days ahead as we congratulate our students and also each other. And I also want to congratulate the class of 2012 valedictorian and the salutatorian, and they are Caitlin Persa and Emma Nadavi. Please come up. At this time, we will continue the presentation of awards and scholarships. And I will be calling up different speakers throughout, both from Leland and Gray and the community. And the first giving the Jack Lambert Science Award is Bruce Whitman.
Give Russell and I, Mike will never leave. The Jack Lambert Science Award. This is made possible by the generosity of the Lambert family. This is the second year that the Science Department has had the honor to give this out. And it is with great pleasure that we present this award today to Miss Olivia Caponselli.
Melanie Zwolinski will present a number of awards. Please.
Good morning, everyone. These scholarships were presented earlier, so I'm just going to announce the recipients, and if you would stand, graduates, when I announce your name. The first is the Valley Lions Club Scholarship. Valley Lions Club raises funds each year to provide 3 scholarships to deserving Leland and Gray students. The recipients are Samantha Russ, Olivia Caponselli, and Krista Gay. The second award is the Cheshire Health Foundation Scholarship. This award goes to a student who has been accepted into a Bachelor of Science Nursing program. The recipient is Olivia Caponselli. The third is the Vermont Scholar Award, given by the University of Vermont to honor the outstanding academic achievement of students planning to attend the University of Vermont. The recipient is Jonah Ullman. And the last is the Vermont Land Trust Scholarship to recognize a Wyndham Regional Career Center student. And the recipient is Sam Bourne. Thank you.
To present Lisa's Love Scholarship is also Melanie Zwolinski.
It's an honor to give this scholarship. It's given in memory of Lisa Ann Young Noble to a college-bound student whose dedication and respect for others will carry on Lisa's legacy. And the recipient this year is Samantha Russ. Please come forward, Samantha.
If I may call up Darcy Brown, who will present the Glenn E. Brown Memorial Scholarship.
Thank you. This scholarship is awarded in honor and memory of my husband, Glenn Brown, who was a 1972 graduate of Leland and Gray. We look for a student who's well-rounded, but who also has clear-cut goals and a plan for success. And this year we would like to present that to Samantha Russ.
Norma Shakun will present the American Association of University Women Award.
Hello, everyone. I am representing the American Association of University Women. The initials are AAUW. Brattleboro branch. It's good to be back here at Leland and Gray. My children attended Leland and Gray a while ago. I had the honor to give out an AAUW Scholarship Award in 2005. But this year is exceptional because we found 3 Leland and Gray graduates who merited our award and so we are happy to be presenting 3 scholarship awards for $1,000 each. However, before I do that, I would like to tell you a little bit about American Association of University Women, which many of you will be eligible to join when you graduate from college. AAUW advances the equity for women and girls through advocacy, education, philanthropy, and research. The American Association of University Women is an organization that promotes equity for all women and girls, lifelong education, and positive societal change, breaking through educational and economic barriers so that all women have a fair chance. It is open to all men and women graduates holding an associate or equivalent, bachelor's or higher degree from a regionally accredited college, university, or qualified educational institution. AAUW was founded in 1881 at a time when only fortunate young women went to college, and if they did work for a while when they graduated, were expected to become stay-at-home wives when they married. A group of such young women got together in Boston area to share mutual interests, keep stimulated and active, and AAUW was created. It is now organized in over 50 countries. Our local Brattleboro branch was formed in 1926, 86 years ago, and is one of 5 branches in Vermont. Each year, our branch has run a book sale in July in Brattleboro to raise money to fund our scholarships for graduating high school senior or mature women from Windham County who are going to college. This year, the book sale will be the beginning of August. Please come and support the AAUW by buying books and volunteer if you have time to help us. Finally, to end the suspense, I am happy to present our scholarships to the following people. Krista Gay, who will be attending John Brown University and studying biology and microbiology. Phoebe Gunther Moore, who will be attending Bard College and studying, I'm not sure, studying. Samantha Russ, who will be attending Roger Williams University and studying civil engineering. And I might add, this has been a really fun graduation to attend. I've never seen such unusual performances. Thank you very much.
Spread the word.
Well, if anyone was here last year, it was a really tough act to follow, but I think they did just that. I am going to ask for Laura Greenwald to come forward to present the Roland Gould Memorial Scholarship and the Leland and Gray Educational Foundation Scholarship.
Thank you and good morning. This scholarship is given by my brother David Gould and myself to honor our father's dedication to Leland and Gray and his commitment to helping students pursue higher education. Our dad valued success. He measured success by what he did and by what he could give. And I was astonished to look in his closet when he died and count 1 suit and 7 shirts. He probably saw all the shirts when he came up here. He didn't measure success by what he had, but by what he could give. It's my pleasure to present the Roland Gould Memorial Scholarship to Caleb Bristol. One of Dad's loves was the Leland and Gray Educational Foundation. The mission of the Leland Gray Educational Foundation is to provide scholarships and to support educational programs. The recipient of this scholarship is Krista Gay.
If Chris Barton can come up, he will be presenting the Mount Lebanon Chapter 89 Order of the Eastern Star Scholarship and the Mount Lebanon Lodge of Masons Award.
Good morning, everybody. Congratulations, seniors. Sorry for the glare. The Mount Lebanon Lodge of Masons is awarded to the by the Mount Lebanon Lodge of Masons in Jamaica to a senior who is pursuing higher education. It is awarded to Olivia Caponcelli. The Mount Lebanon Chapter number 89 Order of Eastern Star Scholarship is awarded to a deserving senior who is pursuing higher education after successful completion of their first semester at a 2- or 4-year college. That goes to Olivia Caponcelli.
Presenting the Ted Fisher Memorial Award is Steve Fisher.
Congratulations, 2012. Ted Fisher is my father, graduated in 1953, and actually died in 65 of a battle with cancer. So this is a memory of him. He loved sports. It's awarded on the basis of enthusiastic support of athletics, good sportsmanship, determination, and willingness to work. And this year's recipient is Caleb Bristol.
Come on back up, Chris, to present the William Boynton Memorial Scholarship.
The William Boynton Memorial Scholarship is awarded annually to Jamaica students enrolled in institutions of higher learning. This year we have 3 award winners. They are Drew Amidon, Kevin Amidon, and Sarah Dixon.
Tammy Clausen will present the Leland and Gray Alumni Association Awards.
Thank you. Good morning. The Leland and Gray Alumni Association Awards are given each year honoring a male and female athlete, awarded by the coaches on the basis of conduct in games, attitude, loyalty to the team and school, participation in practices, and cooperation with the coaches and the other team members. This year, we are proud to present this award to Brandon Riley and Samantha Russ. It's the wrong one? Okay.
Pat Pelton will now present the Patricia Greenwood Scholarship.
The Patricia Greenwood Memorial Scholarship is given each year in memory of my Aunt Pat to a student who plans to attend Castleton State College. This year's recipient is Eric Ginter.
Thank you, Sammy. Sammy. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Come on. Let's go.
Linda Robinson Smith will present the Fred Robinson Memorial Scholarship.
And grandson. I'm here this morning to present the Fred Robinson Memorial Scholarship. It was started 35 years ago by my grandmother, Ruby Robinson, when my father passed away from Lou Gehrig's disease, or ALS. So this year, I have the privilege of presenting this award to Caleb Bristol.
Dr. Frank Rucker will present the Gateway Foundation Rotary Scholarship.
Good morning. Pleased to present two $2,000 awards to deserving students on behalf of the Brattleboro Rotary Club. We're recognizing academic excellence, community service, and perseverance through challenging situations. So the award goes to Krista Gay and Kayla Ferrace.
Sun came out, huh? Presenting the Wyndham Central Education Association Scholarship is Bruce Whitman.
The Wyndham Central Education Association Scholarship is given to a student who's planning to pursue a career in teaching. This year's recipient is Kayla Ferrace.
Ann Landerberger, Ron Kelly will present the Carol E. Reese Art That Inspires Award.
The Carol E. Reese Art That Inspires Award is awarded to a talented senior art student who has produced art that would inspire the average person. This year's recipient is Caitlin Persa.
And now Ann Landenberger will present the Eleanor and Arlo Monroe Arts Award.
The Eleanor and Arlo Monroe Arts Award is awarded to a college-bound senior planning to study the arts, theater, music, dance, fine arts, or architecture. And this year it goes to Caleb Bristol. Before I do the theater awards, before I do the theater awards, I just want to say, if I'd known all these years that Tom Russell was so hot on using props and costumes and action and blocking, you can bet I would have gotten him up on the stage. So watch it, Tom. We got a lead for you somewhere. All the recipients of theater awards have been involved in theater at Leland and Gray year in and year out juggling sports, academics, and arts in their lives, all with the support of you, their families. So a big thank you to all of you, bakers, drivers, line queuers, photographers, seamstresses, builders, and fundraisers. It takes a village to put on a show. The J.B. Stearns Award was established by grateful alumni to honor John Stearns, who taught and directed at Leland and Gray in the 70s and 60s. Many in this audience today remember J.B. and were influenced by him. According to all reports, he produced great theater and his legend lives on. His shoes were big to fill. This year's recipient has been a player since 8th grade, participating in a dozen shows as assistant director, actor, singer, dancer, composer, music director, and writer. His range is broad, his enthusiasm abundant, and his talents and contributions are many. I'd wager that he, with his easy for me to say, inimitable style and artistic sensibilities, would have been JB's kind of guy. Thus, the Stearns Award this year goes to Will Bass. Whoa, that's cute. Mary Soshin Adams, as you remember her in our community, she loved kids and she understood them. One could see that in her interactions with students at Leland and Gray, where she worked before she passed away in 1998. Mary generously shared her artistic gifts in many venues, including Jamaica School, where she instilled in kids a love for the theater, which is an all-encompassing art form. 13 years ago, the Soshin family established a scholarship in Mary's name. This year's recipient was first a lead in Galileo when he was only in 7th grade, and he's been part of a dozen shows since as an actor, set designer, crew captain, prop maker, singer, dancer, and assistant director. Always modeling the level of commitment, camaraderie, and cooperation required in each role. I know this year's recipient, with his wit, warmth, and wisdom, would have made Mary Adams smile. He is just back from an admirable and enviable year of study in France, Emmett Madavi. And I've asked Friends of Players member Faith Hauer and our assistant producer Abby Haddon to present the 5th annual Friends of Players scholarships.
Good morning. This award is voted on by the players based on essay applications and is offered to a senior who's participated in at least 6 shows as either cast or crew. This year, the Friends are honoring 2 players, each having received equal endorsement from the players, and each having made countless contributions to the theater program here. The first recipient started as a freshman, as a prop maker and sound crew. Very quickly, she became sound captain, a role in which she's raised the bar on player standards and for which she's trained underclassmen to take her place. In addition, she's been our graphic designer for several years, producing professional quality graphics for every production since Frankenstein. On her own initiative, too, she created and maintained a website for the players and has recently done the work to ensure that it's sustainable when she moves on. For her high standards, her abundant spirit, and her many talents put to such good use, the first 2012 Friends Scholarship goes to Sarah Dixon.
The second recipient jumped right into the players in 7th grade as a crew member for The Wizard of Oz and has since worked on 16 shows. That's all but 2. She's worked on props and sets as an assistant director, as an actress, and most enduringly as our running crew captain. With an admirable work ethic, an unflappable calm, a playful spirit, an inspiring team spirit, and a commitment to the good of the whole, this recipient has left her mark on us in a myriad of ways. If what she's done in running our production so beautifully is an indicator, she moves on to do remarkable things in an abundant life. And so, the Friends of the Players are honored to honor Phoebe Gunther-Moore.
Ron Kelly will now present the Charles Puritan Memorial Scholarship and the Friends of Music Scholarship.
Amanda Purrington Howe sent this statement about this award. My father would be very proud to see how the music program at Leland and Gray, which he wholeheartedly supported, has grown and flourished over the years. A musician himself and accomplished on many instruments, I believe the advice he would give to the graduating seniors who have shared their musical talents with this school would be, keep playing, keep singing, perhaps even composing or directing. Keep making time for music in your lives, because it will enrich every aspect of those lives and the communities in which you live. This year's Charles Purrington Award recipient is a fine, enthusiastic musician. He came to us in the middle of his junior year and has been seen in the high school concert band, the JV and high school jazz bands, and in pit band for drama productions. His music making has enriched our lives, and I believe that he will continue to make music throughout his life. It is for this reason that we award the 2012, let's say, Charles Purrington Award to Isaac Cohen. This is the first year that the Friends of Music decided to give a senior scholarship. It's awarded to a graduating senior who has made exceptional contributions to the Leland and Gray Music Department and who aspires to continue making music beyond graduation. I'm pleased to announce that the recipient is my friend Jonah Ullman.
Tammy Clausen will present the Francis Lucier Memorial Scholarship and the Grace Cottage Memorial Award.
The Francis Lucier Memorial Scholarship is awarded to a senior with the highest grade average who has participated in and received varsity letters in at least 2 different varsity sports, has demonstrated team leadership, dedication, responsibility, and will vigorously pursue higher education. She has scored several goals in soccer, made baskets in basketball, and her third sport was watching those Clausen boys. So I'd like to present this award to Samantha Russ. The Grace Cottage Memorial Award is awarded to a student pursuing a career in the medical field. This year's recipient is Olivia Caponcelli.
Chris Barton will now present the Esther C. Lamouria Memorial Scholarship and the Arthur S. and Hazel Samantha Russ Parent Darden Scholarship.
The Esther C. Lamouria Memorial Scholarship is awarded to aid a promising student to attend a higher institute of learning. This year's award goes to Phoebe Gunther Moore. The Arthur S. and Hazel Parent Darden Scholarship is awarded to a senior who, through adversity, has shown themselves capable and deserving of a scholarship. This year's award goes to Luke Darling.
Tammy Clausen will present the Jean Paul Williams Endowment Fund.
This promising student is selected by the faculty of Leland and Gray. The award may continue for each of the 4 years as long as the student's GPA allows him or her to progress and graduate. This year's recipient of the Jean Paul Williams Endowment Fund is Samantha Russ.
Chris Barton will present the Roy and Margaret Brooks Scholarship.
Okay, the Roy and Margaret Brooks Scholarship Award is awarded to a senior who has done outstanding work in math and science for 4 years, with special preference to someone who is attending UVM. This year's award goes to Jonah Ullman.
Gerald Julian Cisse will present the John Newton Scholarship.
Hello. John Newton was a former principal here. In fact, he was the principal that took over when the school changed from the seminary to what we know now today as Leland and Gray. And so through his leadership, he planted the seed to the wonderful school that we have here today. This award is given to a senior in appreciation of John Newton, to a senior who has demonstrated leadership and academic accomplishment while at Leland and Gray. And the process for this is that the seniors themselves nominate this student. Then that nomination is reaffirmed through a faculty consideration. So it's with great consideration that the student is chosen. And through the perseverance that she has shown and through challenges and her leadership, I'm very, very happy to award this John Newton Scholarship to Allison Jones.
Linda Rude will present the Arlo P. Monroe Award.
Good morning and congratulations to the class of 2012. The Arlo P. Monroe Award was established to honor Mr. Monroe's dedication to the young people of the West River Valley during his years as headmaster at Leland and Gray Seminary. Funds for this award are raised by the faculty through voluntary payroll deductions. And by a vote of the faculty, the award is given to a member of the senior class whom we hold in utmost esteem for the qualities of scholarship and loyalty. The student we honor today is bursting with creative energy and intellectual curiosity. This young woman is an outstanding student, an eager learner, a gifted artist, a deep thinker, a kind and friendly person, and a community leader who gives much of her time to help others. It has been a pleasure to be her teacher, and today it is a pleasure to present the Arlo P. Monroe Award to Caitlin Persa.
So Ms. Rood and I will both introduce and award the Honorable John Barrett Awards. Okay, so this Barrett Award winner is described by a faculty member as wonderful to the core. She is a diligent student who puts out a maximum effort in each and every class. She has served faithfully as an art room duo for 3 years. She unfailingly and quietly models the right thing to do, as she helps her brother on the bus and serves as a welcoming committee of one in the mornings on sea level. Recently, she has stepped up without being asked to help out with cleaning while Sharon has been out. This mature young woman possesses a rare quality, empathy. For these reasons, we are very proud to present the Honorable Barrett Award, written by Chris Barton to Jessica Davis.
I should explain that the Barrett Awards are given through deliberation by the faculty to students whom we feel have made significant contributions to our school community, not necessarily academic, but we consider them to be valuable members of our community, and we want to honor them this way. Each description that you hear has been written by the teacher who nominated the student for the award. The next Barrett Award is presented to a young woman who has been described as to her academic achievements. Faculty members have said she has set a standard. Professional, graceful, talented, and humble. She is a role model for her classmates who may not be as motivated. More than one person described her as a one-man show for her ability and willingness to take on projects, largely alone, when no one else wanted to. Yearbook and videography, for instance. Her artistic contributions to the school are legion and of consistently high quality. She has also shown leadership through journalism and interactions with her peers. For all of these reasons, Sarah Dixon is most deserving of an Honorable John Barrett Award.
The next Barrett Award, written by Tom Connor, is about a student who would have thought that this excellent basketball and soccer player would ever be seen dancing with beautiful Mongolian girls on a stage in Inner Mongolia, yucking it up in a raucous version of Home, or putting on a gold dress and doing a parody of the popular Chinese song Nobody in front of thousands of Chinese students on the road with Journey East and in front of his peers in Vermont. This charming, kind, self-effacing, committed, and responsible individual is a good student, a positive leader, a role model, and let us not forget, a great dancer. According to Ms. Chen, he is one of my most outstanding Chinese speakers. He has served as a class officer, on the student council, as a student Rotarian, and given many hours tutoring in the 21st Century After School program. The consensus among the teachers who have known him is that whatever he has, he should bottle it. For these reasons, it is a pleasure to present an Honorable John Barrett Award to Eric Ginter.
This description was written by Bruce Whitman. Two words come to mind when we think of this young man: leadership and growth. We have watched him grow from a somewhat shy boy into a person who is a serious role model for the school community. This young man leads by example, whether it is in the classroom, the halls, or outside of school. He has taken the difficult position of holding his peers accountable for their actions, not an easy nor always popular thing to do, and as a result has earned the respect of both his classmates and the staff. His growth as a student has been wonderful to watch. His work ethic, ability to work through frustration, and his advocacy not only for himself but also for his fellow students marked this young man as a special student within our community. Whether it be serving Christmas dinners, loading skis and snowboards to take up to Stratton, or helping our younger kids who might be struggling to find their way, this young man has done it all. For his contagiously positive spirit, his undying willingness to help others, and much, much more, we present an Honorable John Barrett Award to Gabe Rosa.
This has been written by Tammy Clausen, and the school community will forever remember this person as an athlete who, through her hard work, determination, and perseverance, has left an indelible mark in the athletic history books. Leland and Gray has benefited from this individual's presence on the softball field since her freshman year. She helped her team win 2 league championships in 2009 and 2010, compete in the Vermont State Division III semifinals in 2010 and 2011, and she has pitched the team to a record of 54 wins, 14 losses. She has stunned many girls at the plate, striking out 573 batters over 4 years. If you've seen her swing at the bat, then you know she hits with great power, many times smacking a home run over the fence. She has been recognized at the league and state levels, receiving MVL All-League honors for 3 seasons, as well as being selected for the North-South Senior Softball Classic. For showing great poise under pressure, thriving when faced with adversity, and showing commitment to the school's athletic community, this Honorable John Barrett Award is presented to Nicole Sherman.
This description was written by Ruth Ann Dunn. She is the hardest working student I know, takes challenge after challenge, never gives up, works until she gets it. She is really focused on the future. Any faculty member who knows her could have written this description of this student, but it doesn't stop there. This student's character shines just as brightly outside of the classroom. Whenever you encounter this person, she is modest, mature, upbeat, and willing to lend a hand. She is a quiet leader. She tutors younger students and readily helps her peers. In addition to being academically gifted, she is also a talented varsity athlete and musician, the only senior to hold that distinction. Samantha Russ is indeed a worthy recipient of the Honorable John Barrett Award.
We will now begin the presentation of diplomas. The names will be read by English teacher Linda Rude with the help of everyone here on the platform. And seniors, please come up when you hear your name called.
Drew Amadon. Kevin M. Amadon. Good job. Christopher Barrows. William Robson Bass. Jessica Sue Beam. Kira S. Begnosh. Sam Bourne. Caleb Allen Bristol. Daniel L. Bueller. Hunter Jordan Buffum. Olivia Shea Caponcelli. Olivia Rose Nye Chavit. Isaac J. Cohen.
Thank you.
James G. Crowther III. Robert John Culver. Eliana Marie Dagg. Luke M. Darling. Jessica Davis. Sarah Bernice Dixon. Blake H. Dowley. Kayla Aubrey Perez. Sloan K. Forstrom. Jonathan R. Gallup. Peng Gao. Fabian Sula Gaspero Beckstrom. Krista Ann Gay. Callie Ginter. Eric Ginter. Casey John Gould.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Phoebe Armstrong Gunther Moore. Haley Ellen Hopkins. Allison Michelle Jones. Emmett Larson. Nicholas Todd Lawley. Darius LaDolce. Emmett Madavi.
Thanks, Darius.
Justin Maturo. Desiree Lynn Mercier. Julia Lynn Miramontes. Rachel Ann Mowry. Joseph Novick. Caitlin Marie Persa. Grayson Peterson. Kristen Petrocelli. Brandon M. Riley. Austin John Rodericks. Gabriel Nicholas Rosa. Samantha Rua Russ. Alicia May Scudder. Julie M. Shepard. Nicole Sherman. Heidi Rose Snell. Eric Starr. Cody Thompson. Jonah M. Ullman. And Jessica Lindsay Young.
Congratulations, Jonah. Good luck with everything. Fun in Burlington. Congratulations, Jessica. Good luck to you.
Okay, so friends and family, community members, our big community family here. It is with great pride and emotion that I present to you the Leland and Gray Senior Graduating Class of 2012.
Bowls and flows of angel hair and ice cream castles in the air and feather canyons everywhere. I've looked at clouds that way, but now they only block the sun. They rain and snow on everyone. So many things I would have done, but clouds got in my way. I looked at lives from both sides now, from up and down, and still somehow it's clouds, illusions I don't know. I really don't know clouds at all. Da-dun, 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 da-dun. Moons and Junes and Ferris wheels, the dizzy dancing way you feel, and every fairy tale comes real. I've looked at clouds that way, but now it's just another show. You leave 'em laughing when you go, and if you care, don't let them know. Don't give yourself away. I've looked at life from both sides now, from within down, till somehow it's life's illusions. Do not do 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 da dun da dun da dun da dun da dun da dun da dun. Tears and fears and feeling proud to say I love you right out loud. Dreams and schemes and circus crowds, I've looked at life that way. Now old friends are acting strange. They shake their heads, they say I've changed. Nothing's lost, but something's changed.